So hello, good morning, students. Okay, in the previous video lectures, we have discussed about the coals and petroleums, and there in the previous video, we have just completed about the different types of fuels and fossil fuels and types of resources, and we also have discussed about the coals and their types, okay, and the components of the coals. Okay, we have discussed about their uses and their origins. Okay, so today we will not be discussing about the coal, but instead we will be discussing about the petroleum and their products, how their origins, and also we will be discussing about the natural resource, natural gases, and then we'll also at last we will discuss about the conservations of fossil fuel. Okay, so you see, we'll discuss about the petroleums. Yeah. Here we are going to I have already given you is about that. You see about the petroleums. Okay, today we will in this topic, in this video, we will only discuss about the petroleum. You see, before we go about uh, the detailed studies about the petroleum, we'll try to understand from where how this petroleum works but then come into access. Okay, as I've already given, the petroleum is derived from the Latin word that is called petra, which means rock. Okay, petra is a rock. Oleum means oil. Okay, oleum means oil. In the Latin word petra means rock and oleum means oil. By combination these two words, we got the words called petroleum. We got these words called petroleum. And this petroleum, what we already know from the meanings, okay, from the Latin word, we have already learned that a petroleum is a rock oil. Okay, the oil that we obtain from the rock, but not the rock which is present on the outer surface of the earth. Okay, it is the rock which is present inside, internal. Okay, so you see, petroleum is also another types of fossil fuel, which is dark color, viscous and foul smelling liquid commonly called crude oil. Okay, so petroleum is what is a fossil fuel which is dark in dark color, viscous. Okay, very black in colors. Okay, very dark. Okay, dark means not black actually. It is something dark. So foul smelling liquids. Okay, which is commonly called as a crude oil. It is mostly found between the two impervious rock. We will discuss where this impervious rock it is. Okay, in the next that one. So here we are discussing the introductions about the petroleum. Okay, it is also complex mixtures of solid, liquid, and gas hydrocarbon mixed with the salt water and earthly particles. Okay, these petroleums are mostly you can find by the combinations of solid also, liquid also, and gaseous hydrocarbon also. Okay, which is again it is mixed with the salt water and earthly particles. Okay, so this is all about the petroleums. Okay, now you see how this petroleum was origins, how it come into excess, and how we came to know. You see, in a million years ago, okay, in a millions of years ago, there was very large numbers of aquatic organisms. Okay, there was large numbers of aquatic organisms. Aquatic organism means what? Aquatic organisms are those organisms which live in the waters. Okay, which live in the waters. Okay, those in organism like plants or animals, fish or whatever it is. Okay, the small microorganism. There are large numbers of aquatic, okay, small aquatic animals organism was there, and that a small aquatic organism got dead. Okay, they died due to some calamities. Okay, due to natural calamities. Okay, due to different natural calamities, and dead bodies was been buried in the sea. Okay, that body was been buried in the sea. Okay, and when this body was decaying, when the body start decomposing, okay, in absence of air, under the high temperature and pressures, okay, the product of decay was petroleum and natural gas. Okay, that the body which was decaying, the body which was decomposed in absence of air, with high temperature and pressure, this decaying product convert into petroleum and then natural gas. Okay, which was trapped into the two layer called impervious rock, forming an oil trap. Okay, so in this inside the earth, under the layers of the earth, okay, in the layers of the we have a one layer called impervious rock. Between this they form an oil traps. Okay, the products are collected above the petroleum under a high pressure in a dome shaped impervious rock called rock cap. Okay, we will that rock cap, what is a rock cap? Here we will discuss that all this product will get accumulated in a region called rock caps. Okay, so it is totally like a dome. It's totally like a, it is something like this, dome like this. Okay, it is something like a dome. Okay, it is something like this. Okay, it is something like this. Okay, it totally, it accumulated here. Okay, that is what we are discussing is about. Okay, this is how origin. You have to keep it in mind. The petroleum was accumulated due to the diet of the large aquatic animals. Okay, and when they died, they start. Okay, they start decomposing. Okay, when we died, when we human die or any animals on the surface of the land who died. Okay, then when we die, like the air decompose our body. In presence of airs, microorganisms try to decompose our body. But inside the waters, okay, inside the waters, all the plants or animals got dead, okay, and they start decomposing under the high pressures and temperature in absence of air. Then start to convert a petroleums or natural. Okay, you see, now we will be discussing about the drilling. How we obtain the oil from that tank. You see, this is your oil cap. This is oil cap. This is what we are discussing. This is the oil cap. You see, this is a reservoir. Inside this they get accumulated. Okay, this is accumulated. Okay, so this is how it is. This is how we can see. Now you see this oil. Okay, the oil that we are obtaining. Okay, the occurrence of the oil that before we drill. You see, oil mostly. Okay, found in the depths of more nearly 1,000 to 500 to 1,000 or 1,000 to 1,000 5,000 meters. Okay, depth. Okay, so inside this depth, this all the engineers whoever try to like drill the waters, they try to put a they try to, what is that, make a giant holes. Okay, they try to drill the earth with the help of some engines. Okay, and then they try to uh, take the oils from there. Okay, this is how we come across. Okay, so this is all the schematic figures. Okay, so this is nearly 1,000, and between 100 to 300 you will get this is stabilizers and drill collars and drill bits, again drill pipe. This is a pipe series, then all the oil will come out here. Okay, and then they will get collected. Okay, so this is how it is in this place. Whatever it happened here is, it is shown more detail here. Okay, tubing is, this one is a tubing, this is a baker, is an oil enter here. Okay, from this the oil will enter here. Okay, so once the oil enters, then it will come out from this part. Okay, then when it can again it reaches up to here, then it get collected. Okay, so this is all about the here. Next, you see, it is here is a total detail I wrote. You see, at the very beginning, what happened? It is extracted by drilling the hole in the earth crust. Okay, where the presence of oil is detected by surveying. Okay, what is it? At the very beginning, before we drill, before we take out the water oil. Okay, first of all we will do one thing, is that we will try to go for survey. Don't try to dig a hole in your home. Okay, because it is not sure that you may get a waters or you may get oils or whatever it is. So it is not high chances. One sir said that wherever you drill the hole in the earth crust, that means you will be getting the oil. Then now you start drilling the hole in your home, then means it will be a quick, like, what is that, natural disasters. Okay, a lot of natural disaster will be there. So I better advise not to do these things. Okay, so what even before we drill the hole in the earth crust, first of all we start to go for a surveying. And if we keep on surveying, okay, once we have detected that there we are going to get the oil, then what shall we do is that we will try to again go for the oil well mapping. Okay, we'll go for oil well mapping by geographically, geological and seismic method. So after that, whether how we are going to extract out the oil, and all this after the mapping, after every mappings, okay, by different geographicals and geologicals, how whether it will be impacted to natures or not. Okay, if it is going to be impacted, how we are going to drill out the oil without impacting to the natures. Okay, so different geographicals and geological method they will try to apply on it, and after that they start to drill. Okay, so if somewhere if you got the oil, okay, you start just drilling on it. What if in another place there will be a landslide or whatever it is, they have to take care of all those preventive measures. Okay, so to avoid not to have any disasters. Okay, so when the oil well is drilled through the rock, natural gas first come out. Okay, what happened at the very beginning when the oil well is drilled into it? First of all, the natural gas don't. It is not the petroleum first come out. Okay, natural gas will come out with a great pressures. They will come out with a very high pressures. Okay, when the pressure is becoming moderate, when the pressure become slow down. Okay, when the pressure reduces. Okay, or subside. When the pressure reduces or subsides, or petrol start flowing out due to the pressure of natural gas. And once the pressure becomes subsides, or when the pressure become moderates, okay, once natural gas is already completed, that means along with the natural gases the petroleum will be coming out. Okay, but once the pressure fall further again, if the pressure keep on falling further, if it fall down more and more, okay, it come to it lower down the pressure, then the petrol will be pump up by the electric motors. Okay, so this is how some well dig, and then most of you see most of the oil well which has been dig in the earth is not only to yield either both the gases or petroleum, or some well are dig to yield only the gases only. Okay, so this is all about the drillings of oil oil wells. Okay, so this is it. Refining. After drilling out the oil from the underground, we will go for refining. Refining means cleaning. Okay, we will to produce a complete and uh, pure forms of the products. Okay, so during the refining, depositions of petroleum occur with the natural gases. Okay, so all this petroleum will combine with the natural gases in the rock oil well, where it taken out by the drill. We already have learned by drilling. Okay, so this petroleum and natural gas got extracted out. Refining is a process where separations of various compounds from the crude oil occurs. Okay, what is the refining? It is a separations. Okay, it is a separation, like is the filtrations of all those compounds which is mixed with the crude oil. Okay, so first the refining is mostly done by the fractional distillation, is a process used to separate the compound. What a fractional distillation is here, whatever, will allow the columns to move here in degrees and let it to heats. Okay, whatever the process is here, we will discuss more detail in the diagram. The diagram is given in next. Okay, next next slide. You see, crude oil procured from oil well is a mixture of many liquid. Whatever the crude oil, whatever the oil that we are getting from the, what is that, oil wells, it is a mixture of what, many liquid. Different temperature evaporate a different liquid, different temperature evaporate a different liquids. Okay, so some temperature will evaporate early, some liquid will evaporate early, some liquid will evaporate very lately, right? So different temperature evaporate in different manners. Okay, this boiling point, this temperature is a boiling point of the liquids. Okay, so the crude oil is heated at a temperature of nearly 400 degrees Celsius and fitted at the bottom of the column and further heated. So that is what we will discuss. You see, the liquid with the lowest boiling point change into vapor first and then condense. First, what happened? All the liquid, the crude oil will pass here in this direction. The crude oil will first pass, let it to pass here. Okay, the crude oil will let it to pass here. Okay, so when it passes here, okay, when it allowed to pass here, so what happened? The crude oil, when it passes here, okay, when it allowed to pass from here, okay, so what it happened is that. It will allow to heats. Okay, when it allowed the heats, okay, under, you see here we have a 600 degrees Celsius, 270 degrees Celsius, 170 degrees Celsius, 120 degrees Celsius, 70 degrees Celsius, and 20. So different at a different temperature, all these gases. Okay, at a higher temperature, next volatile liquid will change into these very temperatures. Okay, then in this way they will try to convert from one form. So at this temperature you will get a fuel oil. At these temperatures, okay, here in this cases you will get a residues, means all the waste material which have been, means like we used to say whenever we burn the firewood we get a koila, right? Ashes, something like this we will get, and this residuous oil is also useful. Okay, then we will get a fuel oil, okay, which is used for the which is used in your, what is that, your ship, for your ships or your factories. Okay, then we will get the lubricating oil like wax and polish, okay, whatever it is there. Then we will get in this temperature 200 centigrade we will get a train fuels. Then we will get in this we will get a jet fuels. Okay, at this 110 degrees we will get a gasolines, and this temperature we will get a lot of chemical, and this temperature we will get a liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, so at a higher temperature, next volatile liquid changes into vapor and instead and rises. Different vapor rise at different temperature, and as they condense, they are collected in different tray, and different liquids are collected in different tray. A few gases reach the top of the column without condensing. Okay, so this is how the temperature is allowed to heat up here. Okay, at a different temperature, we will be collecting different um, different liquids. Okay, so once they again these different liquids are collected in different trays, they will be collected whatever the liquid is condensed or whatever liquid get evaporated at a 600 degrees Celsius. Let's say they are been heated in 120 seconds, some liquid will be get evaporated, that one will be collected. 70 degree if increase, some liquid will be evaporated, that one will be again collected. 120 if increase, again some more liquid, again it will be evaporated. That different in a different temperature, different could all get evaporated. So without condensing, they will try to collect in a different tray. Okay, so this is all about the refining petroleum. Now you see what are the products of the petroleum. The products of the petroleums, okay, the products of the petroleums are those products. Okay, petroleum, those products, the products the products are first is the residues that we have already discussed. What is the residues? In under residues we will be getting three different types of oil. Okay, what is aspa? That is a black and sticky cement oil. It is used for making, you see, it is used for making a road. Okay, and this is for making a damping proof foundations of the building. Okay, it is also used for making a lot of damp proofing foundation, and it's also used for coating the electric pole also. Okay, for coating your electric pole it is used. Okay, next we have paraffin wax. You might have seen this is a candle which is used by made by, it's a white semi-solid which contain hydrocarbon like grease, vaseline and wax. Okay, so here they can make the with this paraffin wax, it is used for making the white semi, and then vaseline. So a lot of, like you see, this is also one of the cream that is being used for making, like is used, paraffin used to make this one. Okay, so now you see next we get another one that is called lubricating oil. This is thick viscous solid and is for lubricating, means in order to save the machine parts. Okay, this is to lubricate so that your machine will not get rust. Okay, so this is how the different types of products. So this is how we are using about it. Okay, so this is some uses of residues oil. Under residues oil we will be finding three different types of oil, that is alpha, aspal, paraffin wax and lubricating oil. Next we have a fuel oil. Under the fuel oil, it is used for industrial furnace, again for rising the temperature in a boilers. Okay, so this is another oil that you will get from the petroleums. Okay, so this is another oil that you are getting, that is industrial furnace in a rising steam in a boilers. Okay, next we have a diesel oil. Okay, and this diesel is used for heavy vehicle, like you see, like heavy vehicle like your trucks, okay, your buses, tractors, okay, and uh, your generators. Okay, so these are some diesel oil that is used for fuel in your generators to generate electricity. Okay, so these are different types of oil that you will get. And then we have a kerosene oil. The kerosene is used for household fuels in a wick stove and a pressure stove. You see, this is your stove. Okay, and it's also used for kerosene is used for in the lantern, like this also. Okay, and purified forms are used as aviation fuels. Aviation fuel means like your, what is that fuel, like means the fuel that is used in aeroplanes or whatever it is. Okay, next we have here gasoline. Gasoline means it is a petroleum. Okay, it's the petrol. It is used for mostly used for the light vehicle like cars, scooters, etc. So, okay, your bike or whatever it is, there you use the petrol oil, and used as a dry cleaning fluid also, and used for preparing the petrol gas which is used in lab. Okay, so next is what petrol gas or petroleum gas is. What it's a liquefied gas. Okay, so it is a liquefied gas which is stored in the steel cylinders and used as a household fuel and used for manufacturing of petrol. So these are some different types of products of the petroleums. Okay, so this is getting. Next we are going to discuss about the natural gas. Okay, so natural gas also mostly, as we have already discussed in the petroleums, okay, how it origins. So I will not be discussing more details about the natural gas, as the same productions of petrol petroleum, the natural gas also produced. Okay, it is mainly produced by the, what is that, aquatic, with the dead of all those dead of aquatic animals. Okay, so natural gas is mostly composed of methanes and mixture of ethane, propanes, or methane. You will get mostly of 95% of methane and 5% mixture of ethane, propane, and butane and pentanes. Okay, methane is a combination of what, hydrogen and carbon, which is formed when a man, plant, and animal get organic materials are trapped beneath in the sedimentary lands of the earth, and in the original state, natural gas is odorless and colorless. Okay, so most of the natural gases, so you will not get much smell and you will not get any colors about the natural gases. Okay, like other fuels, like other fossil fuels, natural gas also, I already told you, natural gas also mostly produced. Okay, like other fuel, natural gas are also mostly produced by the deaths of all those organisms which are buried in the mud and sand, are usually flow on the lake, oceans, and riverbed, which bacteria slowly break down the organic matters. Okay, like the fossil fuel, natural gas are also obtained by the death of plants and animals under the ground. Okay, or it is similarly like origins of the petroleum. So, however, the petroleum have been produced in that process, the same process of the producing of the petroleum, the same it is producing the natural gas. Okay, so this is all about. Next we have, you see, conservations, or next we have a conservations. I will not be discussing about the uses of petroleum, natural gases. As much as possible is given in your textbook. You try to go through this, and whatever the uses are there, you try to study as your assignment. So everything I explained, that is not the part of you, and like you will be learning nothing. So as much as possible, try to understand. Okay, and make it use of it. Okay, so you see, today we will be the last topic that we are going to discuss is the conservations of fossil fuel. What is the conservations of fossil fuel? Fossil fuels are exhaustible natural resources. That is, exhaustible means what? Fossil fuels will finish one day. Okay, in the near future it will finish one day. Why? Because it takes millions of years to convert a dead organism. It doesn't produce like a sunlight. Okay, that every day the new generations are coming. No, it is not like this. After the death of all those organisms under the millions of years ago, that have been converted into fossil fuels. Okay, burnings of fossil fuels cause a lot of air pollution. The first thing is that we have to conserve them, and uses of fossil fuel also causes global warming. That is why conservation is needed. Therefore, fossil fuels we use only when absolutely necessary. Why fossil fuels? These are the two important topics. Okay, the question may come, why the conservation of fossil fuel is needed. Okay, the conservations of fossil, the first point is that conservations of fossil fuel is needed. Why? Because the fossil fuels are inexhaustible natural resources. The next is that it takes thousands of years or millions of years to convert from a dead organism to fossil fuels. Okay, now in order to, when you're burning them, the next disadvantage is that when you burn the fossil fuel, they produce the air pollution. Next is what, whenever the fossil fuel is burned, used, there's a global warming. Therefore, the fossil fuels will be used only when absolutely necessary. This is the first point that you have to remember. And the second point is what? Fossil fuels are non-renewable resources of energy. Non-renewable resources means what? It is energy where you cannot renew again and again, you cannot reproduce again and again. Okay, most of the energy used by us is obtained with burnings of fossil fuel. The fossil fuels are used up by in the first place. Every day and now we are using the fossil fuel like your petrol, diesel, LPGs, or whatever it is. We are using all those gases. Okay, all those gases. Okay, all those are made up of fossil fuel, and we are using day to day, every day. Okay, now they cannot be regrowed at a large compared to the consumptions. Okay, how many we are consuming, that much amount of it, it is not producing as early as possible. So, okay, it is taking some time. Okay, with the increase of demand of production of various energy, fossil fuels is declining day by day. Populations are increasing and demands are increasing, right? Population, more demands are there, more populations are there, means what? Our fossil fuels are reducing. It is difficult to replace them. That is why we have to. They are known as a non-renewable resource energy. The first point is what, they are inexhaustible resources. Second is what, they are non-renewable resources of energies. Okay, this is what. Okay, what PCR? Okay, PCRs offers a tips to conserve a fossil fuel. What is a PCR? Petroleum. You see, PCR stand for the Petroleum Conservation Research Associations of India. Okay, so conserve PCR, that is Petroleum Conserve Research Associations. Okay, in India, they have given some tips to conserve the fossil fuel, first thing is what? Drive at a constant speed or moderate speed as fast as possible. Whenever you are driving the car, okay, whenever you are driving the car, or whenever you are traveling in a car, you have to keep your car in a constant speed. You should not speed up also, or you should not slow down also. It's some constant speed that you have to maintain. Okay, why? Because if you speed up, you need more energy, you need more petrol second. If you petrol, we can say, or you need more fuels. Okay, or if you slow down, that means more again. What is it? Fuels are being consumed. That is why, in order to maintain a constant fuel consumption, we have to drive at a constant speed. Okay, next is what? Turn off the switch, turn off the engine. Okay, turn off the engine at a traffic light or at a place where you have to wait. Okay, whenever you are waiting, you have to stop. If you are trying to wait to your friends or your family members, if you are waiting for them, that means turn off your engine and save your fuel. Or whenever the traffic lights are there, whenever you're parking, when you are waiting for the traffic light, turn off your engine, and once the traffic light is on, that means you can restart your engine. So if you keep on turning on the engine, that means as long as the engine keep on running, that means that much petrol will be, or fuel will be consuming. Okay, so next is what? Ensure the correct tire pressures. Okay, you should check whether your tires have a like what is it, high pressures are maintained or not. Okay, if you go to the tire repairing shop, if you ask them what is the correct tire pressures, okay, means it is a uniform tire pressures, then they will let you know. Okay, some RPM, some pressures, pascals. Okay, in the form of pressures, they will give you a values. Okay, so what is it? Tire pressure. Why the tire pressure is needed? If the tire pressure is less, okay, if your tire pressure is less or too high, okay, or if the tire pressure is very low, that means they will consume what is a lot of fuels. Okay, because more energy need to be applied on the car to run. Okay, if more tire are also pressures are also there, means consumption, fuel consumption is high. Next, ensure regular maintenance of the vehicle. Whether your vehicles have whether your maintenance are your car have any faulties or not, you have to check your car. Okay, so this is all about what is it, the chapter called coals and petroleums. Okay, then I will be giving the question answers in the next class. Okay, and I do believe that you have already cleared about the coals and petroleum. I've already given you some assignment also. Okay, so I will be giving the next homeworks and assignments in the chapters. Okay, so that's all for the chapters, and I believe that you have gone through, you have understood, and if you don't understand, try to go through the textbook once, and then you see the video once again. Okay, that's all for study hard, stay stuff. Thank you.